So the goal of this course is to put you on track towards financial independence. And if you do that, you're going to be in the top 20% of people age 60 and above. So these are the 5 parts that we're going to cover in this course. And we're going to start at the bottom of this triangle. And I made it a triangle specifically because it's important for you to understand that each of these layers adds on top of the other. So you can't jump ahead to allocation or selection, which is what most people would probably want to do, without first understanding these more foundational, fundamental things. And I made them bigger because I wanted to drive home that the most important things are actually at the bottom. Essentially exact opposite of what most people think, but really the biggest contributor to your future success financially is your mindset. In this section, we're going to address several things, some of which may be a surprise to you. But this is absolutely the foundation. If you do not have the appropriate mindset for building wealth, you are eventually going to fail. At some point down the road, your foundation is not going to be strong enough to sustain where you're at, and your financial future will essentially, a little dramatic, but come crumbling down. And I don't mean that as an exaggeration. I think that is absolutely the case. People do not work on how they think. Therefore, when they run into a bad market, they don't have the foundation laid and things absolutely fall apart and they make bad decisions and put themselves decades behind. So this is essential. Please do not skip this part. The second is putting yourself on a solid financial foundation. So here we're addressing more the brain, right? The mental side of this, your mindset. In this next part, we're going to get into the numbers. More importantly than investing is saving. Like we talked about in the last video, you cannot be a good investor if you are not also a good saver. Saving comes before investing. So this will be building your financial foundation, the things you need to do before you ever even open an investment account. Then the third part, we're going to look at anchors. So an anchor, if you're riding a boat or something like that, the anchor is something that holds you in a particular position. And when it comes to investing or finances in general, there are several anchors like taxes, investment costs, fees, that sort of thing, and mistakes, most importantly, mistakes. So these are 3 major anchors that will hold you back. So in that part, we're going to talk specifically on how you can minimize each one of these 3 anchors. In the 4th section, we're going to talk about allocation. So in this part, we will introduce different assets. So we'll talk about, stocks and real estate and fixed income, that sort of thing. And we'll talk about what is the appropriate weighting for you. And again, this is personal. What's the appropriate weighting for you between stocks and bonds and other asset types? And if you're not familiar with all of those, we'll talk in more detail about those in part 4. And then finally, at the very top of the pyramid, the least important, remember, small font, the least important is actually what specific stocks or funds that you buy. So I know this is probably counterintuitive. Almost all of the attention from the financial media or YouTube people is going to be on this selection. That's what gets the most fanfare, but that's actually the least important. So we'll get to that at the very end of the course. So that is the outline for the course. We're going to get started with the mindset portion. I'd be glad to answer whatever questions you have and be glad to post additional videos in this course if you have clarifying questions. So thank you again for joining me on the course, and I look forward to seeing you in part 1, mindset.